You check the mirror and notice a new line on your face. Maybe your knees hurt when you stand up. Maybe your back feels stiff in the morning. Today, growing old means doctor visits, medicine, glasses, retirement plans, and family photos where several generations stand together. But take all of that away. No hospital. No pension. No pharmacy. No written age. No birthday candles. Now place yourself beside a small fire thousands of years ago. Your hair has turned gray. Your teeth are worn down. Your hands are slower than they used to be. The young people can run faster, carry more, and hunt longer. So here is the question. What happened when ancient humans got old? Were they protected? Were they left behind? Or did old age mean something very different from what we imagine today? The simple answer is tempting. Life was hard, so old people must have been rare. And yes, many children died young. Injuries, infections, hunger, cold, childbirth, and violence could end a life early. But that does not mean everyone died at 30. If someone survived childhood, they could sometimes live long enough to become gray-haired, experienced, and deeply valuable. Researchers who study hunter-gatherer societies have found that older adults can play important roles in food sharing, childcare, memory, conflict solving, and teaching. The archaeological record also gives us clues. One of the most famous examples is Shanidar I, a Neanderthal found in Iraq. His bones show serious injuries. He had damage to one arm, problems with vision, and signs that he lived for years after trauma that would have made daily survival difficult alone. This does not prove every ancient group cared for every injured person. But it does suggest something powerful. At least some prehistoric people survived because others helped them. Old age was not just a weakness. It was also a container of knowledge. An old person may not have been the fastest runner. But they might remember where water lasted during the dry season. They might know which plants were useful, which berries caused sickness, and which animal tracks meant danger. They might remember the path back to a shelter used many seasons before. They might recognize the sky before a storm. They might know how to calm a frightened child, repair a tool, prepare food, or settle tension before anger split the group. In a world without books, old people could become living libraries. Not perfect libraries. Human memory can fail. Stories can change. But before writing, before phones, before maps, memory had to live inside people. And the longer someone had lived, the more seasons they had seen. That mattered. There is another important idea called the grandmother hypothesis. It suggests that long human life after childbearing may have helped our species because older women could support grandchildren. They could gather food, help feed children, teach skills, and allow younger adults to spend energy on other tasks. This does not mean every grandmother in prehistory lived the same way. But it gives us a useful clue. In human groups, survival was not only about the strongest body. It was also about cooperation across generations. A child who had extra care had a better chance. A young mother with help had a better chance. A group with more knowledge had a better chance. So the old person beside the fire was not only someone who needed support. They could also be one reason the group survived. But old age still had a cost. Pain did not disappear. A damaged tooth could make eating difficult. Weak eyes could make small work harder. Cold nights could hurt more. A fall could be serious. If the group had to move quickly, an older person might slow the pace. And this created a hard truth. Care required effort. Someone had to share food. Someone had to wait. Someone had to help carry tools, watch children, or adjust the route. Kindness in prehistory was not just a feeling. It had a physical cost. That is what makes it meaningful. When we imagine ancient life, we often picture survival as a contest of strength. The young hunter. The sharp spear. The fast runner. But human survival was also built by people who remembered, warned, taught, repaired, and cared. An older person could turn experience into protection. They knew that the obvious path might flood after rain. They knew that a silent forest could mean something was wrong. They knew which argument was dangerous because they had seen a group break before. They knew that panic wastes energy. They knew when to wait. That may be the great reversal. In ancient life, old age could make the body less powerful. But it could make the person more important in another way. The value was not only in muscle. It was in memory. It was in judgment. It was in relationships. It was in the ability to say, "We have seen this before." Modern life has changed this. Today, we store knowledge outside the body. Maps tell us where to go. Weather apps warn us about storms. Doctors explain pain. Search engines answer questions. Photos remember faces. Calendars remember dates. Technology now carries many things that older people once carried for the group. That is a gift. It saves lives. It reduces suffering. It gives people more years, more treatment, and more comfort. But it can also hide something. It can make experience look less valuable because information feels easy to find. Yet information is not the same as judgment. A search result can tell you what happened. Experience helps you understand what matters. Ancient humans did not grow old in a perfect world. Some were cared for. Some may not have been. Some were respected. Some were vulnerable. The past was not gentle. But the evidence suggests that human beings were not only survival machines. They were social beings. They carried each other. They learned from each other. They kept knowledge alive through people. So what happened when ancient humans got old? They became slower. They became more vulnerable. They needed help. But in many cases, they also became memory keepers, teachers, caregivers, warning systems, and bridges between the past and the young. Their value did not end when their strength faded. It changed shape. And maybe that is the mirror for us. When you notice a new line on your face, or see gray hair on someone you love, it is easy to think only of loss. Less speed. Less strength. Less time. But for most of human history, years were not only something that took. They were something that stored. Aging carried pain. But it also carried maps, warnings, recipes, names, mistakes, patience, and stories. The old person beside the fire was not just waiting at the edge of life. They may have been holding part of the group's memory. And without that memory, the young might not have known where to go next.